Okay, great. All right. Well, let me take this opportunity to welcome everyone who's joined us on this call. So, and we'll all introduce ourselves in a moment. I'm, of course, Bhavna Tur. I'm the founder of Shenomics. I'm joined by Manisha Singh, who heads our coaching practice.
Hi.
We have some aspiring fellows with us today, and we have some of our former fellows as well that we're really excited to see and whom you'll get to hear more from later on today. So we have about an hour today, and I'll just take you straight to the agenda. So we'll share very briefly what the inspiration was behind creating a fellowship such as this. We'll share a little bit more about who we are. We'll give you a quick overview of the fellowship program. A lot of this information is there on the fellowship page, but we'll just give you a quick overview in case you're not familiar. We'll share with you what are some of the ways in which we are modifying the fellowship this year to make it accessible to as many of you as possible. We'll hear from some of our fellows who've joined us today, so we're really excited to hear from them. And then we really want a lot of time to be allocated to Q&A because this is a great opportunity for all of you who are interested in this fellowship to directly ask us any questions that are on your mind, and we would absolutely love to answer each and every one of them. So please do take advantage of the Q&A session in the end. All right, so with that, let's get started. So Shenomics is a platform, we call ourselves a mindful leadership platform for aspiring women. We are now in our 5th year, and honestly, we began with the vision to really support women across the spectrum to live and lead from within, which is what mindfulness allows us to do, with the ultimate goal of reducing the leadership gap for men and women, because all around us we saw there were so many incredible women just brimming with so much talent, but yet everywhere we looked, especially at the highest levels of leadership, we saw there was a huge gap. And that's when we thought, okay, can we use our experience, our knowledge, our network, and our passion for this work to really support as many women as possible to shine in whatever way they wish to shine. Not everyone wants to be the CEO of a company, and we recognize that, and we're not even saying that is what we want, but we do want every single woman to be able to feel like she can tap into her highest potential and showcase that to the world in a way that that feels authentic to her and in a way that gives her a sense of meaning and fulfillment. So that's who we are. And for the last 5 years, a bulk of our work has been working in partnership with large organizations and creating leadership journeys for women. And in 2018, we realized, okay, there's clearly a gap here because we're doing a lot of work with mid to senior level women, but there's so many young women out there that would also value the support that we're not getting an opportunity to reach. How about we create a program for them? That was number one. And the second thing was, for all of us who first imagined this initiative, we were just thinking about how amazing it would have been if we had an intervention like this when we were younger. Of course, most of us, I think, just figured it out through trial and error. And we did not want all of the young women around us to also just figure it out through experimentation when we have the wherewithal to support women to make that journey a whole lot easier. So we thought, why not do that? Why not fill this gap and really inspire young women leaders? Because if we can, as young women, create a strong foundation for our careers or whatever it is that we're doing professionally, early on in that initial phase of our professional life, then that foundation will continue to support our growth for the rest of our lives and can really make a difference in terms of how far we go and how confidently we get to wherever it is that we want to get to. So with that in mind, we created this, this fellowship. And of course, I think we all know the stats. India, unfortunately, has among the lowest participation of women in the workforce. And when we look at the number of women leaders at the top, we're also among, if we look at India globally, the stats aren't very encouraging either. We have, we're among the lowest when it comes to the percentage of leadership roles that are held by women. So that is why we thought, let's create the supportive ecosystem to really create a strong platform for young women that are aspiring to be leaders from all walks of life and in all spheres. So this is not just about corporate women. This is just, it doesn't matter. You could be doing anything. And over the years, we've had one of the most beautiful things, in fact, about this fellowship has been the diversity of women we've had. So whether you are from the social enterprise world, or you're working with an NGO, or you're working with a government, or you're an independent researcher or doctor or thought leader, it's really for any woman. Honestly, we're just really looking for two things. One is the desire to really want to to reach one's highest potential in whatever kind of work that you are doing, irrespective of that. If you want to be the best at what you are doing, that's the first. And the second thing is the desire to really make a huge impact one's work, in the sense of that you have this genuine desire to really benefit, ensure that your work benefits the lives of everyone around you in a positive way as well. So we're looking for that wide. So we're looking both for the depth of impact as well as the breadth of impact that young women want to make. And so that's how Lead Like a Girl Fellowship was born in 2018. It's a holistic program. The primary focus for us always has been and always will continue to be self-awareness, fueled or propelled by the philosophy of mindfulness. Because in our work over the last 5 years, what we've seen is that when women really go on to shine and make the biggest impact possible is when their work feels truly aligned with who they are. And in order for us to align our work and what it is that we do in the world with who we are, we need some amount of self-awareness about who exactly it is that we are, what matters to us, what do we value, what are our strengths, what are our biggest dreams, all of these questions which require a lot of introspection and reflection and self-awareness. And so that is what this fellowship is predicated on. And as I said, because we are very, very big on also ensuring that all of us create an impact, as wide an impact as possible, we have a paid forward aspect to this fellowship as well, which I'll talk about in a moment as well. Now, very, very briefly, here's sort of the core team of as I said, I'm the founder. Prior to this, I've had really two other phases in my professional life. The first phase was my corporate phase. So I've grown up and lived in 6 different countries around the world. But, the US is actually where I ended up spending the most amount of time. So I was in New York, close to 14 years, 15 years, 10 of which I spent working in the financial industry. So I was working for a organization called Lazard Asset Management as a VP for business and product development. And after which I got my MBA at the NYU Stern School of Business, and decided to focus my MBA on social entrepreneurship, because at that point in my life, I really started thinking about really using my skills to make a wider impact in the world. And as soon as I completed my MBA, I knew I wanted to come back to India and see how I could really make a dent in the world, in the social impact world in particular. Before we go any further, I just want to take a moment to ask everyone to make sure your calls are muted. I think, Manisha, you can make sure you can just mute everyone so we don't have any background noise. Divya Martin is actually officially the head of client engagement at Shenomics, and she's really also the main person who is operationalizing this entire fellowship. So she comes with a lot of experience in consulting. She was previously at Great Place to Work, and has significant experience in research as well. We're also joined by Manisha Singh today. So maybe, Manisha, I can ask you to introduce yourself. Manisha, as I said, heads our coaching practice. Manisha, if you can take a moment to say hello to everyone as well, that would be lovely.
Sure, wonderful to be with all of you this evening. And my experience is mainly in two domains: 13 years of experience in IT, infrastructure, service delivery, global account management, and 6 years of dedicated coaching. This includes the corporate space in which I've led a team of coaches before. And yeah, so glad to be here. Oh, back to you, Bhavna.
Great, thanks, Manisha. And Sapna, whom you'll get to know a lot as well, since she is she heads our community engagement. So she handles all our communication and marketing, social and otherwise. So this is the core team. And one thing we all have in common is our passion to do this work. We're deeply invested in this, and for us, this is not just has never just been a job or just something we do. It is a calling to be able to be of service to the women around us. So having said that, let's move on, and let me share with you an overview of the fellowship. So the program is a combination of 4 key things. First is we have a customized leadership curriculum that we take everyone through. So it's a 6-month leadership journey that we take all of our fellows through. And there are various themes that we cover across that curriculum, which I'll talk about shortly as well. But that's the main learning foundation of the fellowship. Then the second component of this is the mentorship component. So we have put together a vast network of mentors with very deep expertise in a variety of fields and a variety of different areas. And we keep inviting these mentors to come and share their expertise and their stories and their journeys with our fellows, because another thing that we really believe in is exposing young women to inspirational role models. And I believe, I forget who said this, but someone said you can't be what you can't see. So in order to really change that, we like to routinely expose our fellows to women doing amazing work. So you can see, you can speak to them, relate to them, and really learn from them, and be inspired to follow the same path if that is what you're trying to do. The third component, which we've actually has been very powerful, is the coaching component. So every single fellow gets paired with a leadership coach. This is someone each of our fellows will work with one-on-one. So again, we put together a network of amazing, incredible coaches who are all certified coaches. And our coaches have generously donated 6 sessions to us for our fellow. So each of our coaches will work with you over the course of 6 months. They will meet with you one-on-one, virtually, of course, and conduct these coaching sessions to help you in a very personal way to work on your goals and your dreams and really give you that high level of individualized and customized support for you to accelerate your leadership journey. So that's the third piece. The fourth piece is the impact project. And this is something that I would say is the most important piece for us at Shenomics. Each of our fellows who is accepted into the fellowship is tasked with the responsibility of designing, initiating, and executing an impact project of their own choosing. So it is completely up to our fellows how they design this. From our perspective, what we are saying is design an intervention during the course of the fellowship that helps you impact the lives of at least another 100 women. And again, how you choose to do that is up to you. We've had people design projects in the space of education, healthcare, menstrual health, financial services, technology. It's really a wide spectrum. And the reason why this is so important to us is because we are really investing our time and effort in a small cohort of fellows each year, women whom we consider to be high potential, so that each of you who is accepted into the fellowship then goes on to create this wider ripple effect where you then go on to impact hundreds and thousands and eventually millions of other individuals, because that is our way to grow this community of women helping other women. We're big believers in that. But also it allows us to widen the impact we're making, because each year we're constrained by how many fellows we can take in. But let's say if we do take in 40 fellows this year and each of them takes up the responsibility of helping another 100 women, then we've actually contributed to impacting the lives of 4,000 women, not just 40 women. And that's really, really important to us. These are the themes that you see here on the screen, the core themes that we have anchored the learning component around the leadership journey. And we've anchored it around these 6 themes because from our experience of doing this work over the last 5 years, as well as all of the research around women's leadership, tells us that these are the areas that if we really focus on excelling in, it can make a significant difference to how we shape ourselves as more impactful leaders. So leading from within is all about leading with authenticity and self-awareness. Leading with courage, of course, is leading with the confidence to be able to make big and bold decisions in whatever line of work you are working in. Leading with others, of course, very, very important. We're all about collaboration at Shenomics. So how can you work with others to widen your impact? Leading with a strong voice, again, very important. How can you really build and assert a voice so that you can be more effective in whatever it is that you're doing, inspire others, garner the support that you need to do the work that you need to do. And having a strong voice is a huge piece of that. Leading with a commanding presence so that by every time you simply even enter the room, everyone around you says, here is the woman who needs to be taken seriously, because You exude that credibility, you exude that that confidence, you exude that that authenticity that just draws everyone to you. And of course, finally, leading with happiness, because we're big believers in self-care and taking care of ourselves as well. Just because we are doing work, um, in fact, especially when we are doing the kind of work where we are really putting the needs and wants of others front and center in our line of work, it becomes even more important that we take care of our own happiness and well-being as well. The whole idea of filling our own cup before we can serve others. There are 5 levels of support that we'll be providing our fellows in this fellowship. And at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Manisha so she can tell you about the levels of support that you'll be getting in this fellowship.
Sure. Thank you so much, Bhavna. So the first level of support is us, that's the Shenomics team, Bhavna, Divya, myself, and Sapna. By virtue of our work in the corporate space for the last 5 years, we have also had the good fortune of connecting with excellent mentors, and these mentors have generously agreed to give us their time. Just bear with me 1 second. I'll quickly mute some of the participants. Bear with me 1 second. So yes, so these mentors have generously given us their time, and they form the second level of support. And coaching is another support which over the years our fellows have deeply appreciated, because it enhances self-awareness in a one-on-one personal space where coaches get personalized attention. So that's the third level of support. And we also leverage our proprietary mindfulness-based group coaching structure, which enables peer support in small groups. We found this also very useful over the years. And the fifth level of support is peer support in form of buddies. Each fellow has another fellow as their buddy, where they are each other's accountability partners, not only with their impact project, but anything else that they may feel the need of support with. So those are our 5 levels of support. Bhavna, can we move on to the next slide?
Yes.
Okay, so this year we've made a couple of tweaks to our structure. The first is that now we'll be going completely virtual. And this enables us to do a couple of things. One, it helps us to meet and connect with the fellows more often. So in our earlier format, we were meeting 3 times in person. And now, because we've made it virtual, it'll be possible for us to meet more often. So we'll be doing fortnightly live training sessions, which will be virtual, but they enable us to connect with fellows more often. We like to challenge our fellows to create bigger impact. We've challenged ourselves every year. So first year we had 20 fellows. Last year we expanded to 30 fellows, out of which 20 were in the classroom, and we had 10 other fellows in a different kind of a fellowship, which was not a classroom type of a fellowship, but we still provided coaching support. Now the virtual model has enabled us to get all 40 in the same, on the same structure, on the same format. This year, we're also leveraging our mentor support more, in a more intense way. So each fellow will be connected to one mentor, where they can connect with their mentors one-on-one and ask any questions that they may have. Yes, we will be doing 12 modules over 6 months, where every fortnight we'll have a live training session. With that, I'd also love to share what our fellows from last year have had to say about the sessions. So This first testimonial is from Nivedita, who's a product manager with Swiggy. And she says, the most intense, deep, and philosophical session that left me pondering weeks after the session. I hope every woman goes through this session at least once to understand her inner power. Then we have the next testimonial from Zehra, and she says, Lead Like a Girl has given me opportunities of self-exploration, exposure to like-minded women, and a boost in my abilities to create an impact on people around me. And then we have Harshita, who says, excellently effective presentation and very relevant topic of discussion. She was referring to our presentation skills session that we had done. The simplicity and content of discussion was apt to serve for good perseverance and implementation. So these were testimonials from 3 fellows who sent us their testimonials, but guess what? We have 3 fellows with us in this virtual meeting room today, and we get to hear their views live. So I'd like to first invite Ms. Sri to share what she would like prospective fellows to know about the fellowship. Ms. Sri, over to you.
Hi, Manisha. Hi, everyone. Manisha, can you confirm that you're able to hear me fine?
Yes, Ms. Sri, very clear.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so hi everyone. I am Mishri. I work at Schneider Electric in marketing and business development space. And as Manisha said, I was part of 2019 Lead Like a Girl Fellowship. And I'm so glad to be here with you all today. I had applied primarily to, to be a part of this whole network of like-minded, young, ambitious ladies. Honestly, I gained much more than that. And I want to highlight 2 main, the best things that I found about the program. So one was the coaching session and the other is the classroom session. So we had 6 coaching sessions with a professional coach. So as Bhavna mentioned, it was a one-to-one association, and my coaching experience was amazing. My coach helped me create the main focus areas that we are going to concentrate in the span of 6 months. And I was able to achieve very tangible results through the actions that we discussed over our regular conversations. And one of the most effective changes was me practicing yoga regularly. I was wanting to start yoga since like 3 years, but my coach really helped me do that. And thankfully, till date, I have maintained the discipline in doing so. The second most effective part for me was the classroom sessions. These were very high powered sessions, and I am very glad that this time Shenomics is increasing it to 12 modules, and it would be amazing. So we just met 3 times in the span of 6 months, and these sessions helped me understand what were my underlying motivations, what mattered to me, what were my personal values, where I wanted to be in the future, and what baby steps I can take today to be there. So the best session that I found was the one where we discovered our personal values, and then we were introduced to amazing tools to grow the character strengths of our future self. So my only message to you all is that please apply for this opportunity without hesitation. And this is in fact once in the lifetime opportunity wherein you will have the chance to, learn from all the mentors, and the Shenomics team is wonderful. You will actually prepare yourself to achieve that bold dream that you always wanted to. And most importantly, you'll start believing in yourself that you can create a positive impact. So yeah, that's all from my end. And even after this information session, if you want to get in touch with me for any other questions, I would love to address those. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Sri. So that was Ms. Sri. I'd like to invite Aishwarya next.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for having me here today. This is Aishwarya Kolru. I'm the founder of Social Pukar. And as Manisha rightly said, I was a part of the Shenomics batch 2019. From where do I start? I think the first highlight of my Shenomics journey is mindfulness. A lot of what you learn during the Shenomics journey is going to be around mindful living, mindful consumption, And it inspired me so much that I've actually started practicing mindfulness by meditating every single day. Bhavna, thank you so much. The second thing is the coach. Now, you will be assigned a coach who's usually highly experienced and they are an expert in their respective field. What's beautiful is that a coach will ask you questions and a coach will enable you to discover the right answers, right? So it increases your self awareness to an unimaginable extent. Although there are 6 sessions, like Bhavna said, a coach usually devotes six sessions for you. My coach has been kind enough to be there for me, be there with me, and to be there to support me. Her name is Vimla, and she, even today, I reach out to her not as a coach but as a friend. So I think the most beautiful part about Shenomics is the people you meet are not networks or contacts or connections. They end up becoming family members. They end up becoming friends for life. And I'm not even kidding. You can ask Misri, you can ask Shavini, you can even ask Manisha. We have a buddy system. I hope you have the buddy system even this year, where to highlight the diversity of the program and to encourage you to come out and to also have accountability. You will be paired with someone else from your batch. So that is outstanding because my buddy is an investment banker and I am a social entrepreneur. So you can imagine our professions are very different. However, we have a lot of things in common that we discovered through Shenomics, through our chats. And she's someone who always encourages me, and I'm also there to motivate her. So use this opportunity. And as I told you before, networking, I think, is like an overrated word because Shenomics is more like a community for me. It holds that value in my life and that place in my heart. So thank you so much for having me. And I'll be very happy to get in touch and stay connected with you all. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn. My name is Aishwarya Kolru. Thank you.
Thank you, Aishwarya. Thank you so much. And now we have Shavini. Shavini was our first fellow from a different country in the subcontinent. Shavini is joining us from Sri Lanka today. So Shavini, over to you.
Hi Manisha, hi Bhavna. Hope everybody can hear me.
Yes.
All right. Hi everyone. Thank you so much, Bhavna and the Genomics team for having me over again once more. So I'm Shavini. I'm a civil engineer by profession, but I'm also a political and social activist. And I was selected. I never thought that I'd be selected for the Genomics fellowship. I thought it was just for Indian fellows, but I'm lucky, I guess. So I want to talk about, I think the other two have spoken a lot about what they gained from the sessions, but I don't, in my way, I'd like to put forward what you gain from the genomic sessions. Basically, there are the 3 C's. That is, first one is the coaching, community, and the classroom. So the coaching actually was amazing in the sense that it was first time for me working with a coach, and the way that she brought out, it was Harmeet Anand. I hope some of you have her. So the way that she brought out my specific blocks, like there was phases in my life where I was dragging my feet, even in my personal life, the way that she entered those issues and was able to resolve them was amazing. And that's the key value of the program, that you get to work on your personal blocks as well as to learn new information. And then, of course, the classroom sessions. Classroom sessions were a completely different experience because there were all these amazing women who have done some amazing work in their own personal life, in their careers, and they were able to impart knowledge to us on not just on a professional level, but they were also, some of us connected after the training, and we were able to ask questions, and some of us connected on Facebook. So it's been an ongoing journey with the classroom sessions. And something that really stood out for me in the classroom sessions was the Awakening Divine Feminine session. I think that was very powerful. A lot of us, we don't realize how regimented we become in our office, and then we lose that our touch, our feminine touch. And that really brought me back to my roots, to my feminine power. And I loved that session and all the other classroom sessions that we did. And also coming back to the community, now Aishwarya spoke a lot about the community that we have. And for me, I never felt, even though I'm from different country, I never felt that I'm an outsider. There were so many, of all these people, all these inspiring women from all these different walks of life, and we are connecting as buddies, as mentors. But then there's no one. There's no hierarchy. There's somebody above you or below you. You're just sharing knowledge wherever you are, picking up your faults and correcting yourself wherever you are, knowing that we are all in this together. That's the strongest feeling that I got from the Shenomics session. So thank you very much, Shenomics, for giving me all of that. And I hope all of you will be applying, and I hope many of you will gain value from your experience as much as I did. Thanks.
Thank you, Shavani. Thank you so much. So with that feedback from our fellows, we'll now open the floor for questions. I'd request you to please raise your hands, and I can then sequentially unmute the participants so that they can ask their question.
Hello, Bhavna. And
Hi, Akansha.
so, a very good evening to everyone.
Good evening.
Yeah. So, I'm very new to this platform, and I just want to ask, is there any way that is there a coaching sessions kind of, or is there a whole personality development or interpersonal skills enhancing kind of way that a whole journey would be as much suit me in someone just like outsiders. There are some classroom classes, so hope we maybe they that we can connect with that classroom classes or not. So I just want to ask you, what is all about the fellowship, and I get to understand what is all about the fellowship, but how the process began and how the things are going in a very deeper manner, so that we can enhance ourselves in some personal level and professional level, and even we got the knowledge what we are doing in our level and what we can do for our future level. So these are the things that I can ask to you.
Okay, thanks for asking that question, Akansha. So we definitely, what we're doing is, what the goal is to take each and every one of you on a journey, and every aspect of that journey, if I understand your question correctly, is designed to, so we don't necessarily call it personality development, we call it leadership development. Every aspect of the fellowship is geared towards that. So whether it's the classroom sessions where we look at various aspects of leadership that you as a young woman can benefit from and can leverage to make as big an impact in whatever work you are doing. So the goal of all of the sessions is, it's twofold. So one is, of course, you can say, if I'm using your words, of course, at the level of the individual or at the level of the personality, how you yourself can work on yourself in terms of enhancing your self-awareness, your leadership identity, who you are, what you value. And then, of course, at a very practical level, we also get into there are various aspects that allow you to work on specific skills that are going to be important for you as a leader. So whether that's, having, as we said, having a strong voice, having a strong presence, being able to lead others, all of those come under the category of your more practical leadership competencies. But all of the other aspects as well, coaching, of course, is a deep dive into you working on yourself, and in the process of defining what is important to you, what are the kinds of goals that are personally important to you, and then taking action on them. That is where a lot of growth is going to happen for you, which is why every single fellows that you heard from today spoke about coaching being a very powerful component of the journey. And frankly, the impact project is also another really powerful component of the journey, because in the process of taking action on something that is important to you, and really, I mean, that's leadership in action. When you take on a problem area and you design a solution and actually take action towards executing that solution, that's you really rising as a leader during the course of the fellowship itself. So those are some of the ways in which we help you.
Okay, sure. So my next question, can I ask one more question then?
Akaksha, if you don't mind, we'll come back to you. I just we have a few more questions in the chat box. So we'll take one question per person first, and then we'll come back to you.
Okay, sure.
All right, so I'm just reading the chat box here, and we have a question from Madhubanti. Hi, this is Madhubanti from the Aditya Birla Group. My question is there a recommended age group for this program? The fellows seem to be young, high potential women. Okay, so yeah, if we didn't clarify that, absolutely, this is designed for younger women that are in the first phase of their professional lives. So so far, the age group that we are focusing on has been and will continue to be age 20 to 29, or age 20 to 30. So that is, so yes, we're looking for women in that first phase of their career. Let me take a look at the second question. Can a recording be shared? Yes, we will be sharing a recording. Question from Divya. And I wanted to mainly understand the outcomes of the fellowship. Also, how will the design of the program will help achieve these outcomes? Also, any success stories? Okay, so we've just shared all of that, so I'm not sure if you might have missed that. So I think we'll share the recording with you. We did cover all of the major aspects and outcomes of the fellowship, and we also had a few of the fellows share their journey. And you can also, I would encourage you to check out more testimonials and hear from some more of our fellows, both this year as the most recent batch 2019 as well as 2018. So you'll get to hear the success stories from them, and all of the fellows, as you've heard today, are very open to answering any questions, so you can get in touch with them directly as well.
Bhavna, we have three other questions by show of hands. So Ashima is going to go next.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead, Ashima.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Ashima.
Thanks for the wonderful presentation. It was really helpful. So I have three questions. I will only ask one of them on through voice, and will type the rest of them on the chat box. So I wish to know that since the fellowship invites girls from across the world.
Hear her? I'm not able to hear.
So
Ashima,
okay. So wait, hold
on. Your question, because I'm not able to hear you.
Hold on. I've stammered since birth, so just please be patient about it.
Okay, my apologies. Yeah, please go ahead.
Thanks. So since the fellowship invites girls from across the world, it seems much competition to get selected into the fellowship program. So it gets imperative to know that what is it which you are looking for.
Okay.
Of fellow.
Okay. Manisha, you want to answer? You want to take that question?
Yes, yes. So Ashima, thank you. That's a great question. We're looking for someone who has the desire to really create an impact in the world, someone who has also been showcasing leadership qualities so far in their own capacity. It could be while studying, it could be during the work so far, it could be personal leadership in leading their own self. Um, and commitment, commitment to really give back to the society through the impact project, and whatever it is that you can share from your past experiences in terms of what initiatives you've taken to create that difference. Also, if you've gone through our form, we ask about your whatever you consider your past achievements, and that gives us a sense of the desire to contribute, and that's what we're looking for. Bhavna, you want to add to that?
No, I think you summed it up pretty well. So it's really, I mean, it just to add to that, it really boils down to three things. One is we're looking for evidence of your evidence of leadership. So leadership that you may have already demonstrated in your life in however small way. So maybe it's not even professionally, maybe it's something, something you did personally, but we're looking for that evidence of you seizing opportunities in your life and really rising in a meaningful way to help the people around you, or to even push yourself in a significant way. So that's the first one, evidence of leadership. The second, as Manisha said, is the desire to make a wider impact with whatever line of work you're in. It doesn't matter. We're completely agnostic, whether you're from the corporate space or social space or government, but that desire to want to make a dent, a huge dent, in whatever line of work you're in is the second one. And the third is this, as Manisha said, is this desire and commitment, as she said, I think commitment is the right word, to pay it forward, to want to impact the lives of others. And because as we mentioned, the impact project is a core component of the fellowship. So, and we really want you to be successful with that. So we really want to see that is something you're going to be taking on very seriously. So those are the three things. I'm just going to come back to the chat box now. The indicative cost per participant. So the fees for this are 10,000 rupees per person. However, we're very generous with our scholarships, and we have said every year that especially if you're working in a space that doesn't allow you to contribute that much. So let's say if you are from the NGO world or not the nonprofit world, we will take that into account and offer a scholarship so that you don't have to pay the full amount. But having said that, I will say, we've designed this entire journey in a way, including the fee structure, keeping in mind the accessibility for young women. So we realize, you are just starting out in your career, so we want to make this as affordable as possible, which is why pretty much everyone who's involved in this fellowship, with this fellowship, is working pro bono, from our coaches to our mentors to our facilitators who are just taking a small token fee. And everybody involved in this fellowship is doing that because we all want to see young women succeed, and that is why that is what allows us to keep the fees to a minimum. So that's the answer to that question. The acceptance rate, it keeps, so I would say every year it keeps getting more and more competitive, which is good, because I think it shows, I think as the word is spreading, more and more young women are applying. But I would say don't let that be a deterrent by any means, because every year the the women that are the most passionate about being a part of something like this do get through. So please still go ahead and apply. Every single person on the admissions committee reads every single application end to end. So we take every application very seriously. So please go ahead and apply. Don't worry about the acceptance rate. Okay.
Tanvi has been waiting. So there is.
Yeah, go ahead. Yes.
Yeah, Tanvi, you can go next. Tanvi, you can ask your question next.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. Thank you so much for such an informative session, and the updates about the fellowship really helped. The virtual sessions, it's quite daunting that it's going to be only virtual now, and I wanted to understand whether there's going to be any scope of meeting the Shenomics team in person, the other fellows in person, and our mentors in person, because I think that brings about, it makes a lot of difference communicating and interacting people sitting together. So is there any scope for that kind of an activity, or is it going to be a virtual one for the 6 months?
Sure, thanks for that question. So I completely agree with you that of course the impact is very high when we can all see each other and be in the same room, which is why up until now it has the learning sessions have all been done in person. But because of the environment we're in with COVID-19, and we have no idea what the environment will be like for the rest of the year as well, keeping that in mind, we decided to make the fellowship entirely virtual. Having said that, we are going to ensure that even though we're doing this virtually, the connect continues to be very deep and meaningful, both among the entire cohort of fellows. Then, as Manisha mentioned, the entire cohort will also be broken up into smaller cohorts. So you will actually be put into a smaller group of about, let's say, 4 to 5 other fellows. Okay. And we will encourage all our fellows to of course continue interacting virtually, as well as, if to the extent logistics allow, in person as well. You will your sessions with the coach, depending on whether you're paired with a coach from your own city or another city, you can have those sessions virtually, or you could have them in person, again depending on where the coach is. I think our endeavor is going to be, if the situation does get better, to have at least, I think so far what we're imagining is, if the situation improves, at least in the end, towards the end of the fellowship, we would love to have like the final grand celebration where everyone comes in person so we can see each other and interact with each other. So just take it from us that our endeavor will be to facilitate or allow as many in-person interactions as possible. But otherwise, we will ensure that the impact continues to be high, even though we're doing this virtually.
Sure. Thank you.
Hello.
Yes.
Good evening, everyone. And am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Good evening, everyone. This is Atiya Sheikh here from Goa. And currently, I'm pursuing my PhD in wastewater treatment. And I've come across, I came to know about this Shenomics Fellowship on Toastmasters group, on Goa Toastmasters group. My question is, how, first of all, is it relevant to introverts? I just want to know about how this fellowship will cater to introverts. And my second question is the body language component also included over here? So these are my two questions. Thank you very much.
Manisha, you want to take that?
Yes. So, Atya, I feel, we have had introverts in our groups. I am an introvert myself, though people may not believe it. So I, would like to assure you that introverts will also enjoy our program. And your question about body language, we do cover body language, but basics of body language.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Go back to the chat box for a few more questions. Ashima was wondering if all the coaches are women. Our coaches are men and women. And in fact, some of our male coaches have been widely appreciated and loved. So I think coaching is a skill that is gender agnostic, and both our male and female coaches have been amazing. And that the same is true for our mentors as well. Our mentors are men and women as well. And I'm moving to Divya's question. I think I've answered the question about virtual versus in person. And then the second question about will the impact project be virtual? I think it depends on the situation in the second half of the year. If it continues to be that we're mostly working from home, I think there are a lot of interventions that can still be designed, even though we're working from home, they can still be successfully designed and executed. Otherwise, to the extent the situation allows, it could even be a combination of, the impact project could be a combination of virtual as well as in person. So I think we'll wait and see how the situation unfolds. But from what we have seen our previous fellows do, we've had a combination of projects being designed, both that require high touch points as well as those that can be done virtually. Yeah. Any more questions, Manisha?
Sharanya, you have a question?
Yeah, Manisha. Hey, Bhavna. Hey, Manisha. So, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
So, my question is mostly from after the graduation program. So, like, can we, is this a sisterhood kind of thing can we expect? So, for example, once we graduate from the program, is this like a thing which is going to continue for life, where we, have each other's back and, get in touch with each other, or, if in case if some women is in need, or perhaps a job, or, is looking for a change in job, or for some emotional support. Is this a kind of thing that we are looking forward to, like build an alumni kind of thing, and, not only do social impact projects, but also have each other's back in times of need?
Manisha, you want to take that?
Yes, Sharanya. So our vision is to really keep building our community and create that sisterhood. What we've seen in the last two batches is that the bond is pretty strong. We, from our side, we try and facilitate as much interaction as we can. But what we've seen is that we've not had to do that much. The bond is so strong that they keep in touch. Even after the semester.
Yes, and just to add to that, absolutely, I think that was part of our vision to do this fellowship is to create that community, that sisterhood of young women, just working together, supporting each other for life. And we've seen a great camaraderie among our fellows in each year. They continue to stay in touch and continue to help each other. So absolutely, I think that is our endeavor for sure. Mishri is saying, I agree. We all fellows are in touch, and it is fortunate to be part of the sisterhood. Thanks, Mishri. I'm gonna, Sharon, does that answer your question?
Yeah, Bob.
Okay, great. And I was just looking at the chat box. I know you also had a question about references. So in terms of references, we are asking for 2 references per fellow, and we would ideally want those references as much as possible from professional contacts, because I think our loved ones will always think highly of us. So and I think we know that. So the references, if they're coming from personal contacts, may not carry as much weight in fact, they will not carry as much weight as if they are coming from someone who's worked with you, and even let's say not someone who's worked with you in your professionally, but maybe someone who you worked with for an some activity that you took on, or some project that you took on. It could be anything. It could be anyone, but who can speak, who can really attest to your leadership skills, someone who can attest to how you work, and just someone who can throw light on any of the qualities or strengths that you have is what we're looking for.
Okay.
Great. And then I'll just take up a question from Divya as well. What are the reasons for which you may have rejected a fellow in the past? Manisha, you want to take that?
Sure. Actually, I would say we don't reject fellows. It's just that sometimes the number is quite huge, and some of the some work and some of the achievements, some of the initiatives are more compelling than the others. But I would say we've never rejected anyone. It's just that we have a limited number that we can take, and each time when we pick one over the other, it's always with the desire that wish we could, we could take more fellows. So I would say it is, what they have done to showcase their leadership spirit so far, what kind of big and bold dreams they have, and how committed they are, and it's just all a quantum of that. So I would say we've selected people who display these three on these three parameters more strongly, rather than rejecting. Bhavna, you want to add to that?
No, absolutely. I think you put it beautifully. I think, so for the three things that we outlined that are important to us, the fellows that have had the opportunity to demonstrate that in a much more clear and decisive way, sometimes just we'll have an edge because it is more convincing, because now we know your actions are speaking louder than your words, because I think everyone who takes the time to apply for this fellowship obviously is going to be someone who is deeply invested in herself and in her ability to make an impact in the world. I think that we take that as a given, but we're just I think in the end, the ones we end up taking are the fellows that we end up taking in the cohort are the ones that can also demonstrate that to us through their, or have in their lives demonstrated that through their actions and stuff. So that's what I would say. And then going back to the chat box, Atya is asking, references from hierarchy or from colleagues? It could be a mix of the two. So one reference could be from someone you have reported to. One could be from a colleague. It could be a combination. I'm just looking at the time. It's 6:35. So to just value everyone's time, I think we will bring this to a close. Let me take this opportunity to thank everyone who joined us live for this session. And if you did not get a chance to stay for the whole session, we will have a recording for this made available to everyone soon. But thank you for taking the time to join us or to watch this if you end up watching this later on. Big thank you from me and Manisha and the entire Shenomics team. Everyone who is watching this, if you're taking the time to watch this, please also just take a little bit more time and go ahead and apply for this fellowship as well. Because I think even the process itself will be, we hope it will be an interesting reflective exercise for us, because we are asking you some really interesting probing questions, and we hope you'll get to discover more about yourself in the process of just answering those questions as well. As we said, we read every single application end to end, and we really value the time that you take to apply. So please go ahead and do that. Please do go ahead and apply. The application deadline is May 15th. So we have just over a month left. So please don't wait till the last moment. In fact, the sooner you apply, the better, because then it means we get to spend a lot more time reading your application, versus in the end, when there are a lot of applications, we may get stressed for time. So please, we would encourage you to apply sooner rather than later. Yep. Manisha, you want to add anything?
Special thanks to Ms. Sri, Aishwarya, and Shavini. Thank you so much. Because there's nothing like hearing your experiences, having been through the journey. You brought out some wonderful points that, that created so much value from the other side. So Bhavna and I explained from the perspective of how we created it, but you shared your experiences that was so valuable. So special thank you to the three of you.
Thank you so much, Bhavna and Manisha. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Aishwarya, Mishri, and Shavini. And just as a last note, the email ID you can reach out to is fellowship@shenomics.com. If you have any questions, please do get in touch with us. We'd be happy to answer any questions. But thank you, everyone, again. And
thank you.
Look forward to hearing from everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.